Now back in Lagos, it's time to have all those very important conversations that keep rising on social media and beyond. And the very, very eloquent, the one that we can listen to, the most reliable, Olamide is standing by. Good morning, Olamide.
Shibia, you honestly flatter me. Guys, I have to say, a lot is happening on social media. Yeah. I can't wait to get into it. Are you excited?
Take it away, very much.
Mr. Showomi and Mr. Ibrahim Chita, I'm going to need more than that from you to really carry out this show. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right,
absolutely.
Let's see what everyone's talking about on social media. Good morning, Nigeria. Like I always say, TVC has our finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I do our best, and it's our absolute pleasure on a daily basis to bring you all the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this trending news, where the president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has called for a full-scale investigation into the chief executive officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, over alleged unexplained wealth. Now, speaking this weekend during a press briefing at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Lekki, Dangote alleged that the regulator spent about $5 million on the secondary school education of his 4 children in Switzerland, calling for a public explanation. Have a look for yourself.
I want Farouk to be investigated and then also let the legal process take its toll. Let them now see whether his income matches the $5 million he has paid school fees for 6 years for 4 of his children. This without tickets or this without anything. And then also after that one, they are all have finished university. If you give those accounts, then his name will be clear. He doesn't need to be sacked.
Now, beyond the personal allegations against Mr. Farouk Ahmed, Dangote also criticized what he described as regulatory failures and entrenched interests in Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector. He's now accused regulators of encouraging fuel imports at the expense of local refining. He also argued that domestic refining is ultimately in Nigeria's best interest, even if fuel importers incur losses. He added that his refinery is now working actively to ensure that recent productions in gantry prices are reflected at petrol stations all across the country. Very interesting dialogue here. Let's have a look at social media. I'll take 3 tweets on this. Let's get that up. Yes. Honorable Real One says, I suspect that Dangote does not have competent media advisors. Targeting Malam Farouk's family is a disgraceful move, an act of desperation, and a clear indication of Dangote's weakness. Farouk has done nothing wrong except to challenge you based on facts, professionalism, and in providing regular updates on our monthly oil consumption. This should not justify the attack on his children and family members. In addition, his children are on scholarships abroad, implying Dangote lied and has turned himself into a blackmailer. Such a shame. And he says, fact check, there's no secondary school in Switzerland with fees of $1 to $5 million. Day secondary schools typically cost $22,000 to $44,000 per year. Elite boarding schools cost about $73,000 to $146,000 per year. Even over 6 years, the total fees will still be well below the $1.25 million allegedly claimed by Aliko Dangote. I love our online calculators. Honorable Red Pen says the richest black man on earth didn't send his children to Switzerland for secondary school education, spending at least $5 million. Yet a government appointee whose salary cannot finance a multi-million-dollar lifestyle is doing so at the expense of us all. Now, team, you spoke about this with Mr. Sam Omashe just a few minutes ago, so just touch on this very briefly. Dangote is accusing, Farouk Ahmed of essentially, if we're being honest, being corrupt. Yeah. A very interesting dialogue here, very worrisome. But why blow the whistle now, Dangote, why your business or your profit is being threatened or your agenda is being threatened? Why didn't you call this out before? $5 million, that's a staggering amount for any Nigerian currently living in this cost crisis. Mr. Showomi.
Well, one thing we have to be very careful around this issue. One, it's an allegation. Nothing has been proven, established. Allegation of sleaze against the regulator, Farouk Ahmed. We should not also forget that Farouk Ahmed is working for the federal government in the best interest of the country. Now, we have an allegation of sleaze. So what we make out of that is, for me, is better left for EFCC to look at those allegations and see whether there's any substance to it or not. And then allow Dangote to do what he's doing. and allow the regulator to also do what he's doing. But we should not be very careful about jumping to conclusion. No one knows what is right, what is true in this matter currently.
All right. No one knows, of course, what has happened, and that's why this is a very delicate issue that we need to handle with care. Dangote has made allegations. These are allegations. Now, is for the EFCC to fact-check and be sure that that is truly happening. And until they do that, we can only speculate. So we will wait and see what the EFCC is saying about this.
Absolutely. Dangote and the importers, they are fighting dirty, and I think it's bad for their business, but good for us as consumers. So I actually do not pray that this price should end, because I want to see the price of fuel, drop so well. These people are doing so well. Dangote seeking to expand his refinery. It is always very good to refine locally. But this damning allegation, it's huge. If it is anything to go by, if it is true, the EFCC should investigate and prosecute. But if it's not, I urge Mr. Farouk Ahmed to also sue Dangote, if that allegation was nothing to go by. If it's just a smear campaign, then it has all rights to sue Aliko Dangote, for defamation.
Absolutely. Very important to remember that money rarely fights power unless there's conflicting interests. Thank you so much for your input, team. Moving on, still on some back-to-back basketballs. The former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has now asked the EFCC Chairman, Ola Olukoyede, to step aside from the ongoing investigation involving him. Now, in a statement on Monday, Malami described his detention, his investigation, and threatened prosecution as being politically motivated, linking it to his recent defection to the African Democratic Congress. He alleged that the EFCC's actions are driven by a personal vendetta by Olukoyede, citing the Salami Judicial Commission of Inquiry, where Olukoyede served as secretary. Now, according to Malami, the panel's report contains adverse findings against the EFCC chairman, raising concerns about the fairness of the investigation. Malami has also called for the case to be transferred to another enforcement agency and urged the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, to intervene. He's also demanding to be charged or released within the next 24 hours, accusing the EFCC of attempting to rely on individuals convicted by foreign courts as witnesses, and is requesting access to the investigation reports. Malami insists that he's not seeking any political settlement of any sort, saying that his only goal is to clear his name in court. Well, the EFCC has now responded in a statement they posted on X. They say that they are faithful to their mandate and their mandate alone, and will not succumb to being blackmailed or intimidated into abandoning their investigations against corrupt opposition politicians for fear of accusations of seeming bias. They are faithful to their mandate. Let's have a look at social media. Uzo Blaze says, when they were told to build a system that works, they refused, thinking power lasts forever. Now the same Malami is complaining about a bias system. Funny how injustice only becomes visible when it turns on its creators. Adebanji says, there is hardly any top government official in Nigeria today who would be arrested and walk out of EFCC custody completely innocent. Only a few might. While we are busy castigating politicians, the truth is that a huge portion of corruption is happening within government parastatals. Many officials there live outrageously extravagant lives at the expense of taxpayers and money. Let's take one more tweet on this. Just one more. Bolaji Feshomade says, Malami is also asking the EFCC chairman to step aside from his case. What a joker. The truth is that the EFCC has a very strong case against Malami, and he knows it. That's why he's resorting to every means possible to buy public sympathy. Kole work. Team, these basketballs we are seeing online, very interesting. Now, we know that while Abubakar Malami was Attorney General of the Federation, the government set up the Salami panel to inquire to investigate essentially the EFCC. And we know that Olukoyede was secretary to that panel. Malami says that they found some unscrupulous things or some untoward things about Olukoyede, and because of those findings, Olukoyede now has a personal vendetta against him. He's saying his case should be moved from the EFCC. There's a couple of other bodies that can handle this case. We have the ICPC, we have the Code of Conduct Bureau, we have the Code of Conduct Tribunal. But Mr. Abiodun, from your expertise, do you think that the EFCC is should they legally hand over this case to the ICPC, the CCB, or the CCT?
No, I completely disagree with Malami. He cannot choose which agency should investigate him. The EFCC is an institution. tasked with the issue of investigating corruption. Whatever Malami is saying now, it's neither here nor there. They are tatu talk, and I'll tell you why. We are all in this country where Malami was the Attorney General, when Nigerians were told by a lawyer that, look, we have completed this money. This money was not even discovered by Nigerians. Switzerland handed over the money to us. Just come and sign the paper that he has been paid, for that assignment. All what Nigeria needs to do is just sign and collect your money. And then Malami now appointed 2 different lawyers to start chasing money that has already been. It was discovered by Switzerland. It was to be handed over to us. And we all knew the controversies that surrounded that, allegedly paying Bashalut. The second issue is also that since when Malami was the Attorney General, Nigerians have been demanding to know what happened to the recovered Abacha loot. So has it been looted or not? So he needs to explain what happened. He should stop all these unnecessary diversionary tactics. It's not going to work this time around. Nigerians are determined, to know what happened to Abacha loot and what happened to the Switzerland's money, which he got another lawyer 2 other lawyers to work on, and why he chose to do that. There must be accountability.
Of course. There's not going to be any pity party here. No one is going to put blames and shift blames on people. If you've done bad, it will definitely catch up with you, and that is what we're seeing here. I do not like the claims he's bringing, or remove this person from this case. You do not have the power to say who should be removed from the case. I just hope that EFCC will take this at hand. And he says that nobody is above the law. I love the fact that this is teaching us that when you're in power, do the right thing, because it may take long, but you would definitely, be brought to book. So I like what is happening. I just want to encourage the EFCC, let the truth come out. If you're saying you're innocent, you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, then you should not be afraid. You should bring out all the evidences that shows that you are innocent, as opposed to all this pity party and all this.
Yeah, you see, what goes around, they say, comes around. When Abubakar Malami was right there at the apogee, it was more like overreaching, and people will be like, why is this guy like this? Yeah, I'm not criticizing him out of anything. I don't have any personal relationship with him, but this is someone who openly disobeyed the Supreme Court's ruling. There was a time that Dasuki was asked to be released. He didn't he didn't accede to that, so much so that the Buhari administration was termed as an administration that does not regard the judiciary. It was there. The history is there. Okoye-Bono Obla was also, publicly accused Malami of masterminding or undermining their work and personal integrity after they attempted to investigate high-level corruption. Yeah. The same thing, stalling the trial of Stella Odua, Danjuma Goje, etc. And he also, was accused of personal vendettas, witch hunting, and all of that. So whatever goes around comes around. If you are clean, just stay the cause, and then you come out clean.
Malami, let's focus on the numbers and the data and the vindication and answering the questions about the paper trail as opposed to attacking people's personal characters. Thank you so much for your input, team. Moving on into the nation's capital, where the Federal Road Safety Corps has announced plans to prosecute TikTok streamer Habib Hamza, popularly known as Peller, over alleged reckless and distracted driving. Now, in a statement, the Corps Marshal raised concern about a growing trend of content creators live streaming while driving, warning that such behavior endangers lives and violates traffic laws. The FRSC has directed the Lagos State Sector Command to now commence prosecution for reckless driving and phone use while driving, stressing that public roads are not studios. The agency also called on influencer and entertainment groups to promote responsible conduct among their members. I couldn't agree more. Let's have a look at social media. Peller is being brought to book. That display we saw the other day was extremely dangerous, and I'm glad the FRSC is putting strong deterrents in place. I hope they actually followed through. Pluto says, after being prosecuted for reckless driving, the police supposed to charge him. Also in Nigeria, suicide and attempted suicide are criminal offenses under existing law. Criminal Code Act, Section 327. The alien mind says he should definitely be made to pay a fine if possible, but they should please let him go with a warning by not allowing him to face the courtroom. He's too young and silly. Yoruba say, "To omoreki," I'm not going to try that. Bad parenting is always self-evident. Moving on into the nation capital, still on Nigerian roads. Now, we know that Abuja is known for its wide roads, its luxury cars, and a growing culture that we're seeing right now of street racing and drifting. But a viral video now circulating online is raising serious concerns about how dangerous that culture has now become. In the viral footage, luxury cars are seen racing at high speed on a public road in the nation's capital. And just moments later, the situation turned tragic as a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW collide, as you can see there, resulting in a very serious accident. The video has, of course, triggered a lot of widespread reactions on social media, and many Nigerians, rightly so, are calling on the relevant authorities to now intervene. It's, of course, also renewed conversations about the dangers of using public roads for high-speed stunts and the risk that it poses to not just drivers, but other road users, commuters, pedestrians. As this video continues to trend, pressure is mounting on traffic and security agencies to clamp down on illegal street racing, also known as drifting, in the nation's capital. Let's have a look at social media. Let's see what you have to say about this on social media. Oluwagbenga says, poor man, they put mouth for rich man talk. These guys are sons of public politicians, the high and mighty in the society. They do this every Sunday. They even have brand new tires on standby just for their use. MS says, these street races have been going on for years and nothing has been done to stop them, probably because it's the children of the rich, connected and powerful that usually engage in these races. Agbonaye Victor says, reckless driving and live streaming while emotional is dangerous. No clout is worth risking lives. Good move by FRSC influencers. They need to lead by example on road safety. I couldn't agree more. What I'm seeing here is a trend, team. I'm seeing that social media is changing the way that we drive. I am seeing that people are putting their lives at risk for viral moments. I'm seeing that people are taking very big risks, not just for themselves, but for commuters, passengers, passers-by, pedestrians, for a viral moment. This culture is very, very alarming, and I think the FRSC needs to put stronger deterrents in place. We're seeing Peller, who basically live-streamed a suicide by road, and now we're seeing some Abuja boys here driving recklessly, not caring about anyone else on the road. What kind of measures can be put in place, Mr. Abiodun showed me, to avoid this?
Well, it's quite clear when you look at the problem in Abuja, the roads are very, very good, and many people do not necessarily obey the traffic rules. They don't stop at the junction, they just drive through, hoping others will stop. That's one. Number two, we need to have speed limits on our roads in the country, clearly, conspicuously, displayed by the FRSC. Currently, many people are not aware that there are speed limits. You are not in Germany where you can speed 200 kilometers per hour if you can on the Autobahn. You are in Nigeria. So FRSC needs to clearly demarcated, identify those roads and then place speed limits on them and enforce it.
Yeah, of course, and enforce it. But my question is, what do we really want? We want free roads. We want roads that, are good. Now they give us the roads. We start racing on the roads and we're killing ourselves. Like, it's really sad. I saw that video yesterday. I'm like, why are you, do people think that life is two? You just have one life. And when I see people act like this, I feel like maybe they're like the cat and they have 9 lives, because it's really scary. You can see that the cars were destroyed. I'm just hoping that the FRS would not just make this law, but impose it, and most especially speed limits. I know they did something for Third Mainland Bridge. There's a speed limit that if you pass, you would, be arrested, and they will ask you, and, there will be a fine for it. So I think we need to do that for the Abuja roads as well. But let's talk about Peller and what happened. Olamide, I tell you, this live streaming thing, it has gone out of hands. People live stream when they're doing different things. That what happened to you should not hold your phone while you're driving. Up to now, I cannot even pick a call or text when I'm driving, because I know it's not all about me. There are also people on the road. I'm not just risking my life, I'm also putting people at danger. So I think that we definitely need to look into those things. I know there are already laws, but they need to be implemented.
Actually, you spoke my mind, Ria, because I'm wondering if we should tell the government, please don't fix the roads because of those reckless drivers who want to, test the speed of their cars. But I think it's very irresponsible. Very quickly to Peller, well, it is the right move that the FRC is taking, and the people that are now whipping up sentiment, saying he's a young kid and all of that. Allow me, what you were trying to read was meaning that train your child so that you'll be at peace, in your old age, especially. So if Peller is found wanting, it should be prosecuted. If anyone is found wanting, they should be prosecuted regardless. At least there is teenager in prison there.
Absolutely. And if you're watching back home, every time you enter your car, remember that you're in a social contract with other road users. Please hold up your end of the bargain to avoid loss of life. Thank you so much for your input.